All right, so we are going to rig up this shark so we can animate him, right? Because without rigging him, how we can animate him, rigging with the skeleton is just do basic things like this, right? Which is great, but it's not really, you know, what what we want, right? It doesn't move in a natural way. So we're going to add a skeleton throughout him so we can make him move around. Now, we are going to do a very simple rigging of this guy, right? Where we're not going to make his jaws open. We're not going to make his eyes blink. Do sharks' eyes blink? I don't think they blink. We're not going to move the, what's this, the dorsal fin, I think is what this is called. We're not even going to move the back fins or these side fins, right? We're just going to kind of do his whole body, kind of like a background character for a movie or for a video game is how we're going to rig him, right? Now, something to keep in mind is I have all these selected. If I just select one, like if I just select the great white and I move him, well, look, there's his teeth and eyes, right? So this can be easy to do if you mess up, right? If you don't animate the correct way. And you will lose points for this on this assignment if for some reason something like this happens. Okay, so be sure not to do that, right? Okay, great. So we're going to talk about rigging here. And when we rig, what we are going to do is that we want to be in the right mode here, right? So right now we're in modeling. When I go down to rigging, as you can see, this whole panel kind of changes, right? Where we have different pull down menus, right? We're going to be using skeleton and skin quite a bit here, right? And also, we might want to change the shelf to rigging as well because this is somewhat helpful, though I don't really use the shelf much personally. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit the shark animation methods here, right? Uh, kind of this whole boundary here, and I'm going to go to skeleton, right? And one thing you should do is you should click on create joints. You should have this tool setting here open because this can be helpful, right? I can't keep the outliner open the whole time. Have the tool setting open as well can be helpful for this as well, right? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the first joint, right? And the first joint is called the root joint. And this is very important because the root joint is the joint that everything gets connected to. It's going to be the main joint. And you'll see as I start to build this out what happens, right? So I am going to go ahead and set the root joint. I'm going to go somewhere here, right? Because the head tends to, if you haven't done this yet, go ahead and look at shark videos and see how they move, right? The head kind of goes opposite of what the back tail's doing, right? So there's definitely kind of this swimming joint in here that makes the shark move, right? So watch shark videos moving if you haven't already. So I'm going to put the root joint in here, right? So in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and go to the side view right here. Whoops, I just actually hit the joint. Here we go. And in order to see inside, I have this turned on already. We have this X-ray vision thing going on, right? Where we can do this. And I like having the X-ray joints turned on, but maybe you don't want it turned on. You can play around with that. And anyway, I'm going to put the first joint in here, about right there. And then I'm going to have it kind of go through the chest, like right there. And there's the first joint, where it's joint one. Now I'm going to go ahead and build the joints on out to the tail. Now I don't have to have a lot of joints, just kind of where the shark's going to move. So maybe I'll have a move down here with these other fins right down here. And then maybe I'll have a joint move right here. And then down at the tail independently. And then here at the end. Right, so I have this line of joints right here. Okay, and when I'm finished with this row, I hit return or enter. Right, and there's the whole thing. And if we look up here at the hierarchy of the joints, we have the joint 2, joint 3, and they're all attached to one another. So what does this mean? It means if we go to the root joint, right, and let's see if I go up here and I go up to the top, right, which is in a straight line here. If I go to the top, right, and I select this one and I do something like this, right, they all move, right? And let's say I select this joint right here, right? As you can see, it's just moving here from here on out. So as you can see, these joints build on each other, right? Where they move on each other. And okay, so with that said, we have a good start to the rigging that we have here, right? Now, something that's kind of good to do, right, which we should get into, is that we should get into things where we go ahead and right click this and we select the hierarchy where we have everything here, right? And then we go up to skeleton and we go to joint, orient joints, right? And in fact, if we go down here, we open up this window here, right? We want to make sure that all the joints are going in the same direction, which is the X direction, right? Which is where we want. And if for some reason a joint's not following this, and you have these colors, right, where we have these, you know, X is red, Y is green. If you got one that's messed up in here, it's going to affect your animation as you start moving along, right? So you do that by using this application right here, this little window, right? So anyway, this is going to be the end of this tutorial for the basic rigging of the shark.